Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at Roman Reigns takes a shot at Drew McIntyre, WWE Raw 3 rumored possible surprises, Riddle and his wife are officially divorced, Drew McIntyre attacks and insults Roman Reigns, and more. First let's look at WWE Raw 3 rumored possible surprises. WWE Raw has had its share of ups and downs in recent weeks, but business is about to pick up soon. It has been announced that the Bloodline will be a part of this week's show, meaning we could see many surprises unfold. Here are 3 that we can potentially imagine at this point in time. Feel free to list your own twists and turns in the section below. Do you think your fantasy booking for WWE Raw will be better than what we see on our television screens next week? Prove it. Number 3. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes have a stare down up the ramp. It's the same old song and dance every time Roman Reigns squares off with anyone in the ring. At some level, you know that the match will be competitive, but when the smoke clears, the tribal chief will triumph. The only real threat to Roman Reigns from the SmackDown and WWE Raw rosters is a certain Cody Rhodes. He has been presented as a top-tier performer since his return and has pretty much said his dream is to become the world champion. And there's only one man who holds both world championships right now. We know that the Bloodline will be on WWE Raw this week, meaning we could potentially see a stare-down between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on the ramp. Based on the crowd's response, the company could gauge whether there is interest in the upcoming showdown and maybe book a clash for SummerSlam this year. Number 2. Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley settle their differences and team up on WWE Raw. For a very long time, the title picture on Raw was dominated by Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Fast forward to 2022, and both men are babyfaces. And while they are on different brands, there is every chance that the Scottish Warrior's pursuit of the tribal chief could lead him straight to the red brand next week. Let's imagine a scenario where both Bobby Lashley and Omos are in a competitive back-and-forth tussle. But as usual, MVP gets involved. Could Drew McIntyre show up to even the odds and test the waters for a potential showdown with a big man like Omos? Only a handful of men size up to MVP's client, and the company could again determine crowd interest for this clash on next week's show. Number 1. Veer Mahan and Shanky reunite on WWE Raw in a very massive way. Both Jinder Mahal and Shanky have seemingly gone their own separate ways. This may be because Veer Mahan could use some backup, especially if the plan is for him to take on both Mysterios. Could Veer Mahan be joined by Shanky on this week's show as the two powerhouses go up against the quickness and agility of the Mysterios? Maybe in time, the two big men could even take on Riddle and Randy Orton and learn from their years of experience. They could also vie for the Raw Tag Team titles and establish themselves as top stars in the company. What do you think will happen this week on Raw? Let us know in the comments section below. Riddle and his wife are officially divorced. WWE superstar Riddle and his wife Lisa have gotten divorced, as per the latter's latest Instagram post. The couple married in 2011 and have 3 children together. It is now official that they have separated after 11 years of married life. The King of Bros is currently touring with WWE in Europe and is stationed in France. Lisa Riddle announced on Instagram earlier tonight that a month has passed since her divorce from the Raw Tag Team Champion was finalized. She also added a heartfelt message and thanked everyone who has been by her side throughout this ordeal. It's been exactly 1 month since the judge signed the paperwork and our divorce was finalized. The kids and I are enjoying our new adventure and are grateful for everyone that's been by our side through all of this, wrote Lisa. The King of Bros has come a long way on WWE's main roster. He made his way to WWE SmackDown in mid-2020 and has been a part of the main roster ever since. He has won the Raw Tag Team titles on 2 occasions as part of RK Bro and is also a former United States champion. He is currently having quite possibly the best run of his career as a part of RK Bro, alongside Randy Orton. The duo have been together for about a year now and have been a big hit among WWE fans. Orton recently had major praise for his tag team partner, stating that Riddle has revitalized his career. Riddle has kind of revitalized my career, so to speak, as far as how I feel in that ring. He's unlocked the amount of fun that I can have in that ring. I think that before him, no matter how you considered me as a performer, there was something missing that is there now that wasn't there before. And what exactly is it I don't know, but I know that it's a direct result of partnering with him, Orton said. RK Bro is set to team up with Drew McIntyre to take on the Bloodline at WrestleMania Backlash. They were originally scheduled to take on the Usos in a tag team title unification match at the same event, but plans were changed on the latest episode of SmackDown. What do you make of RK Bro's run as the Raw Tag Team Champions so far? Let us know in the comments section below. Roman Reigns takes a shot at Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns reacted after defeating Drew McIntyre at 2 back-to-back WWE live events. Roman Reigns is currently the most dominant entity in all of WWE. He holds the top WWE titles and recently completed 600 days with the Universal Champion. WWE is currently on a tour of Europe, holding live events in major cities. The Tribal Chief took on McIntyre at the WWE London live event and managed to put down the Scottish Warrior to retain his titles. He then had another title match against McIntyre at the WWE Paris live event, where he stood victorious again. Reigns took to Twitter soon after and made a bold statement about his title reign. He dubbed himself the last needle mover in his tweet. He also called himself the world-traveling undisputed champion. At last year's SummerSlam, Reigns took on WWE legend John Cena in a Universal title match. The bout ended with Reigns pinning Cena and retaining his title. WWE later revealed that SummerSlam was the highest-grossing event in history. Reigns responded to WWE's tweet and called his SummerSlam performance legitimate needle moving. WWE capitalized on Reigns' comments and put a new Reigns Needle Mover t-shirt for sale on its official online shop. The merch has been doing quite well on WWE's shop ever since it came out. During an appearance on the Pat McAfee show last year, Reigns heaped major praise on himself while taking a shot at Cena. There's a lot of good things John Cena's done. Obviously, Make-A-Wish, very charitable. But when it comes to sports entertainment, he's levels below me in this game. Entertainment is storytelling, right? I'm the greatest storyteller of our generation and he's a big name. He's a big star. He's a movie star now. But he, like so many other greats, they camouflage themselves. They disguise themselves. You see me every Friday night. Roman Reigns has put down a long list of top names over the past 2 years. Fans wonder who will be the one to finally dethrone the Tribal Chief. Do you think that Roman Reigns is the last needle mover? Have you been impressed by his dominant title reign so far? Drew McIntyre attacks and insults Roman Reigns. Former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre recently spoke about sharing the ring with Roman Reigns once again. The contract signing between RK Bro and the Usos descended into chaos this week on SmackDown as the two teams brawled in the ring. A distraction from the Tribal Chief allowed Jimmy and Jay to get the better of their rivals. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion then assaulted Riddle and Orton, only for Drew McIntyre to make the save. The Scottish Warrior manhandled the SmackDown Tag Team Champions before exchanging blows with Roman and sending him to the outside. Speaking on the latest episode of Talking Smack, the Scottish Warrior mentioned that his exchange with Roman Reigns earlier in the night was a spectacular moment. He detailed that the WrestleMania Backlash encounter between RK Bro and the Usos had just gotten bigger with the addition of the two heavyweights. Here's what Drew had to say: "I love moments. Moments are my favorite things in this industry. That's what it's all about in WWE, creating moments. When I knocked down one Uso, knocked down two Usos, looked behind me, I locked eyes with Roman Reigns. That was a moment. Then I dropped him on his A. All I have to say is at WrestleMania Backlash, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Bloodline against Drew McIntyre and RK Bro. That's big." Drew McIntyre also faced Sami Zayn in a steel cage match earlier in the night. Zayn had been eloping the Scottish Warrior's grasp over the past few weeks. However, the conspiracy theorist could not escape the steel structure and fell prey to the former WWE champion. The latest episode of SmackDown saw WWE make the decision to change the tag team title unification match and have Drew McIntyre team up with RK Bro to take on the Bloodline at the upcoming premium live event. McIntyre and Reigns have a storied history. They met in a high-profile match at WrestleMania 35, where the head of the table picked up the victory. The two stars collided again in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series 2020, and this time also, the Tribal Chief prevailed. It will be interesting to see which team walks away with the win when they collide at WrestleMania Backlash on May 8th. What did you make of Drew McIntyre's comments? Sound off in the comments section below.